Hey guys, welcome to the week ahead. I have here the 5 cards that have come forward for our collective week ahead energies. So last night on the live, to those of you that joined, thank you. Those catching the replay, you know that we did a special spread. We tuned into the energies of the Chariot and how that is influencing us here all across 2023, but kind of taking a look at when it comes to sort of recalibrating and assessing where we are with movement towards our goals, movement forward, any delays, reroutes, all the things that have been happening with our literal automobiles, within our vehicle as our body. We talked at length about that. The replay is up. I will be pulling little bits out and getting together that spread that we did. It was this one here. So we had this 6 position spread, and I'll refer to that as it correlates with these cards that have come up, because actually Monday's card, and I'm going to be doing these in quick clips so that you can just grab Monday when you want to check that out, Tuesday, Wednesday, etc. So our card that came up for Monday for our week ahead, here and now, we got this 2 of Cups. This is the card that came up last night, the Pinky Swear. And again, we're using the Tarot of Oneness. It's the swan song because March is ending. This is the last full week here of March as we speak about these energies. And we're one last time tuning into this absolutely gorgeous deck, Tarot of Oneness by 𝗪𝗲𝗶𝗲𝗀. So this card with the Pinky Swear came in and actually came up with our spread. So as I take a look at our spread, card 3 was the Light Horse. So this was a beautiful energy that came up in our collective. It talked about, what is the energy that pulls you in the other direction, opposite of the dark horse, right? The light horse. What leads you towards your desired goal? What should you be focusing on? What will bring you success? And this is the card that speaks to our partnerships, our connections, our relationships. So kicking off this week, we see there's a spotlight on relationship with the agreements that we have with others. And so, I think this is coming up in any number of ways, right? In the most simple ways, of course, our relationships with others, whether it is in a romantic relationship, our friendships, our family relationships, our business relationships. So the connections that we make with others this week being highlighted to really look at how those relationships are reflecting back to us with guidance as far as where we are headed. And then of course, the bigger view is talking about contractual agreements, like, yes, actual contracts we have and agreements that we make with others and partnerships and collaborations and those types of things, but also like soul contract, in what way are the relationships in our life, and that's not just, the happy, healthy, fulfilling relationships, but also the challenging relationships, or even relationships that we think we're done with or that we have walked away from, that maybe we're feeling reverberations of or having those things come around. That how are those things serving us? What is coming up for us through our agreements, through our connections with others that has a message, a lesson, some growth, some healing coming in for us? And so Monday, kicking off this week, is highlighting the fact that this week is going to be taking a look at those types of things, our dynamics with others. Now, this could speak to you entering into agreements with others, new contracts, new relationships, partnerships of all kinds. Yes, there is a nod to relationship, to romance, to marriage, to blending and blending together and bringing together, and how those things can enrich our lives. The cups being the water element of flow, of emotion, very opening to the heart chakra. So again, how those things have us in any type of feels. So, anything that we're receiving, recognizing how it's coming to us through our relationships. So tuning into, keeping an eye on all of those things, the pinky swears, the agreements and such. We have this card coming in for Monday. Let's go ahead and look at Tuesday, coming right up. Okay, now we're going to feel into our collective energies for Tuesday. Tuesday represents the potential block or challenge this week. In what ways might we be feeling the challenge? And we got the devil. So devil energy coming in here as a block or challenge. Now, what does the devil represent? Especially when we're talking about our collective energies, it speaks to old patterns, ways of being, comfort zone. And that's a big topic. We talked about it last night. We've talked about how some major astrological aspects are currently streaming onto the planet that are all about pushing us, nudging us, thrusting us out of our comfort zones, the things that are familiar, the things that we could just stay in that cozy little place all day, because even if it's making us miserable, even if it's something that we know is not good for us in more ways than one, at least we know, right? The devil we know. So the devil energy is something that, many people will see and be like, oh, of course, the devil. And yet it has to do with, there's something empowering about that, because the devil puts the lens right back on us to say, prisons of my own making, puppet strings that are being pulled as far as keeping me playing small, keeping me holding on to limiting beliefs. Now, the fact that we got this nod on Monday to relationships, there's something that came to me when I looked at this, because pulling the strings, thinking about our relationships, thinking about old patterns, our relationships are some of the best ways to pull us into that devil energy, because it's comfortable, it's familiar. I have this phrase I use, along with family is my rock, right? That phrase that says, yes, my people, my family, my tribe are here as my rock, as a source of strength and refuge. And hopefully everyone has people in their life, chosen or otherwise, who provide that place for them, but also the dynamics of family being like banging up against the rock, right? Like all the things that can really get us to a place where we're having those relationships come up because they serve us with just what's needed for our soul's growth, healing. So, it may not be what we want. It might drive us crazy, but it's the thing that's going to catapult us or to make us uncomfortable enough to push us into an opportunity of free will to make that choice. The devil is in the details, I'm hearing. But there's another phrase I use. Nobody brings me from good to hood faster than my family and my friends. So that is to say that the people that we know the most, the people that are in our orbit, we can be a little more, real with them than maybe what we might put on when we are being polite and cordial out there, right? Or performing in some way in a workplace or in a more professional setting, right? But, I could be over here high vibing. I could be entering into an engagement with family or familiars and be all prepped. I got my crystals, I've got my sprays, my intentions, my protection is in order. And somebody pulls a string and I'm like, oh, hold on a second, from good to hood. So I feel the test of relationship. I feel the test of those interactions with others, presenting us with a choice to say that, maybe I reacted in a way that I didn't want to react, a way that I've reacted before, and I'm feeling a sense of regret or frustration that I allowed myself to get pulled down into that, to be pulled down into the fire. And yet, again, it's all learning for me. It's all about the idea that okay, that didn't go the way I hoped, or it's extremely frustrating that I just went back to that place. I thought I had transcended that, all the things. Remembering that we have that spiral of energy moving where we may very well find ourselves back in familiar territory, facing things that we thought we'd handled, right? There's this coming around again energy that's been presenting itself as well. And yet I am back here, but I'm coming at it from a higher perspective. And one of the things I don't want to try to speak to too intelligently, but if you were on the live last night, my friend 𝗪𝗲𝗶𝗶𝗀, evolutionary astrologer, joined us, and I was kind of saying there's something going on Tuesday with Mercury, and she clarified it is Mercury conjunct Jupiter. Now, I know that she'll be putting something out to really get into that and get the behind the scenes of like what's going on from a planetary perspective that could be affecting us here. Why is this devil energy coming up, right? What is this about? Is it block or challenge? And, but one of the things I saw very quickly, just kind of trying to get my bearings about that, is it was talking about Mercury, the planet of intelligence, and Jupiter being wisdom. So once again, we're at that crossroads between what we know and that really garnered, genuine, over time, curated wisdom. And those two things conjuncting. And what does that mean? And how might our relationships and the devil energy be colliding to bring a potential block or challenge? I'll tell one more funny thing since I said from good to hood. I was talking to my sister this morning and I was telling her about a challenge with one of my teens that, you know, we kind of got into one of those parent-teen discussions and you know, we were getting pulled down into the flames. Old things were coming up for me. And I said something and I wish I would have handled it differently. And she said to me, in the wise words of 𝗪𝗲𝗶𝗴𝗶𝗀, if at first you don't succeed, dust yourself off and try again. Try again. Okay, so she was quoting a little song by 𝗪𝗲𝗶𝗴𝗶. That's taking us back a little bit, but I think many of us that tune in here are familiar to say, yeah, okay, maybe I went there. Maybe I let those strings get pulled on. Maybe I did get triggered. I see myself, I witness that. I'm not going to have judgment. I'm observing it. I'm going to dust myself off and I'm going to try again, right? I'm going to come back to it with a higher knowing, with other wisdom. So that is what I'm feeling here with this devil energy as we move through the week. What I like is what I'm seeing is the brightening that's happening here. So let's tune in here to see what's happening next for Wednesday, which is going to be our midweek blessing. Okay, guys, we're rolling into midweek here. We have Wednesday's card, which symbolizes a midweek blessing, and it is a beautiful energy indeed. This is the Hierophant. This is the, and I'm sorry, I'm going to get the right angle here. I will take photos of all the cards as well to avoid the glares and the text. Trying new things. The Hierophant, and this is the card of higher wisdom, right? If I'm down here, this brings me back up into that higher spiritual perspective, one that has garnered wisdom and is being the teacher energy. So a midweek blessing is, what have I learned? What do I know about the dynamics of my relationships and the devil tendencies of those strings that can be pulled? In what way have I been through, like, not my first, and I like how we're depicting here this book of wisdom, a book of knowledge, the keys here. These are very beautiful nods to the traditional Rider-Waite symbolism with the Hierophant of being the teacher energy, being a mentor. So this can also, bringing it back down to the practical, how might this show up for you this week? This has to do with being teacher-student, apprentice energy with, and so that can be you in the role of learning from someone else, or you as the teacher. I know from last night we talked, and some people did have that on their docket this week, whether they were training for work, people who are attending school right now and learning things and moving through those things. I actually have parent-teacher conferences in a few hours here today. As a matter of fact, my kids are going to be coming home soon because it's a half day. So I will be meeting with the teacher, you know, all of that energy. So it's always neat to see how those things can show up. Because remember, just because this is Wednesday's card, this is energy that can come in and weave throughout the week. So we have this higher knowing. We have the wisdom coming in, and recognizing that everybody is in their own place along that spectrum. So when it comes to these dynamics, when it comes to those challenges of really seeing people and meeting them where they are, recognizing people's limitations, recognizing triggers, all those types of things. So that's a blessing to have that wisdom. That's a blessing to have that awareness, not something that everyone has, right? Not always able to rise above or step back and view things from that perspective. So remembering those tools, remembering those are the keys. I love that. The keys to a higher knowing, a higher wisdom, right? There's, again, with that conjunct of the Mercury, Jupiter, there's what we know, intellect, and then there's true wisdom, and those things coming together in a big way. So that's energy that's all present this week as well, coming to us in the form of a blessing from this master teacher energy of the Hierophant. So let's go ahead and see. We've got open books here. We've got an open book theme as well. So let's feel into that with the Thursday energy coming up here next. Okay, guys, we're hopping in here for Thursday, which is going to be how are we growing? And people are definitely learning new things. People are definitely studying things because these two are both speaking to that. This is the inspiration of Pentacles, or the Page of Pentacles. And this is a student. This is the energy of learning new things, of studying, of garnering wisdom, of, the Pentacles being the earth element. So, and the slowest moving suit of the tarot, as I always say. So it's like a process. It's something that you're moving through. So certainly if you are actually in school for something, if you are actually studying something, if you're working towards something, that is a process. That is something that you well know. You're moving through each of those stages, right? But the pages are a youthful energy, so it's a new energy coming onto the scene. So this can be our young people for sure. Like I said, I've got a lot of that going on in my world right now, school conferences, teens on the other end looking at college and other things. So there's definitely a lot of that student energy in my world. And that can show up for you so many different ways with your children or the young people in your life. But the Pentacles suit is really being about gathering all of that knowledge, wealth, the goodies of all of that, not just money, but all of the energetic commodities. Now, in the book here, she does have some beautiful references to this card, especially with these symbols. I see the mushrooms there and some other beautiful, I love the light bulb. So that's speaking to like the ahas, the ideas coming in, being inspired as well. So how are we growing, right? So through this process. So let me take a look here at some of the key words. Study, reflection, financial opportunities, initial stages of a new venture. Yes, pages are the beginning. Pages are starting out something new. The avid student, awareness of the value of money and how to manifest it. So some people really are in that place right now about their finances, about investing, about getting their money in order, all those types of things coming up with this card. And, really, again, about planting those seeds, tending to those gardens, all of that earth energy being present. Some of the symbols here that she speaks to, the book, of course, is about inspiration that can come from learning new things. It speaks to bringing your ideas into reality, bringing them down to earth and taking practical steps in the direction of manifesting your dreams. So if you are going to school, if you are starting new ventures, new partnerships, right? New partnerships, new things that you're learning, training, experiencing, that's all part of how we're growing right now. The book on this card is all about putting yourself in the role of the student and leveling up your education. Even the way I'm coming to you right now, you'll notice this is a different format. I'm actually recording this over in a new project that I'm working on, that I'm piloting with a group of people that are with me to help me look at ways that I can expand my offerings and connect in meaningful ways. And so it's new to me. And so I'm practicing. So that really speaks to me. And for example, those of you that are a part of that pilot with me that are watching this as well, there we go. Here's our energy coming in here with this inspiration of Pentacles. So it's saying, when you're trying to bring things into reality, when you're kind of the grind of like taking those steps and things are slow moving or there's a process, it requires diligence and patience, right? But we've never shied away from hard work. So this is something that you can accomplish. The mushrooms here are symbolizing the potential pitfalls that could happen if not paying attention. This particular mushroom is attractive, but also known to be poisonous. So be cautious when in its presence. So it's just an awareness of things that are attractive or shiny. Devil, temptation. That's another aspect of devil energy, the block or challenge this week. So these two cards are feeling connected for me. The shiny thing, the thing that looks easy or appealing. And I could go into that because that's why I'm here. I'm working on this project as a way to find, using my own authenticity and integrity to create and connect outside of the pressures of social media and algorithms and the onslaught that's coming in with AI and the temptation to take the easy way out, to have robots write our posts and make our lives easier, but yet feels devoid of any creativity or connection. And so I'm trying to get sort of ahead of the curve with exploring new ways. So I'm really feeling this connection too of the temptation of the easy way, the shiny things, the old patterns, all of that, contrast to the invitation to set out on something new, to plant new seeds, to explore new ways, and be wary of those poisonous mushrooms. And so the flowers and vines that we see growing upwards, she's speaking to, they are lifting off the pages of the books. Oh, yes. And they symbolize the opportunity to manifest the potential that comes from your inspired ideas. So we're back to the seed. We're back to the seedling that even as we plant it, even as we pour our intentions over it, we can envision the growth that will come, the sprouting of the vine, the little leaves, and the growth that's going to be happening, certainly, as nature is reflecting back to us as we move into the seasons. We see that energy coming up here too. So that's how we are growing, literally, as nature is, and then also energetically as we expand, as we allow ourselves to try things, to try new things, and also to maybe even be in a different, go in a different direction than maybe the mainstream or the majority. And I feel like that's moving us into the Friday energy. So we're going to talk about that next. But still embracing that as a way for us to continue to grow and expand in a way that feels very authentic and resonant to us. So let's go ahead and wind down the week with Friday coming up next. Okay, so we've made our way through to Friday. We're wrapping up the week with the final card, and it has come up as the Five of Pentacles. So the Five of Pentacles it's the card that often is associated with feeling left out in the cold, being outside. You were not invited in, a closed door. There's a feeling of lack, of rejection, of, and it's beautifully depicted here with nods to the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith with the snow falling and the stained glass windows. Like the lights are on in there and it looks warm and cozy and inviting, and it seems like everybody else got in and I didn't. I'm standing out here. And that's kind of what I was starting to get here when I talked about the Thursday energy of setting off on planting our own seeds and fostering growth that feels real and authentic to us. In other words, do I really want to be inside there? Is that a party that I want to be invited to? It's kind of giving me like FOMO energy. And also the Five of Pentacles, certainly in the most direct way, can speak about financial struggles, financial difficulties, thinking about making those ends meet. Of course, with all of the Pentacles talk, the Chariot talk that we had on the live last night, looking at many of us experiencing car troubles, expensive repairs, unexpected things that are hitting us in the Pentacles. That can be, that there can be a little bit of, is there going to be enough? Right here again, we could fall into that place of fear, of lack, of worry. Or we have that Page of Pentacles with a new perspective, a new outlook, bright ideas about ways to create income, to create stability in our lives. Throat chakra. The next thing I'm going to say, it also can speak to illness and being under the weather. And today, I don't know if it's allergies or just I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. I am starting to feel a little bit of that head heaviness, and I'm just like, no, I have stuff to do this week. But I'm going to clear, cancel, delete that and start doing the things to nurture my garden here to help boost me. But it can speak to a feeling of unwellness or, just being a little off there too. Some people already moving through that with all the headsy stuff that I was talking about last night, the sinus stuff, the headache stuff, all those kind of things, feeling under the weather. Again, like this down and out feeling. But there's a silver lining to this card about closed doors and recognizing the purposes that they serve. Some beautiful messages in here that I want to feel into too, just to build on this as we kind of see how this all culminates from everything that's been building this week with these messages. You know, speaking to hard times, speaking to struggle, speaking to being in times where we feel out in the cold, right? Suffering either financial loss or any of those types of situations of having enough, that we could be left feeling empty or helpless or, you know, out of ideas. And so the good news is that it's just a temporary situation. It's passing through. It's a state of being. And often one that comes right before that door closes, the next one opens. And as I say that, I of course have my Bob Marley here, and I'm thinking of, you know, don't you know when one door closes, another opens. So let's do a little don't worry about a thing here with Bob, opening up to the doors, our doors. I want sustainable growth. You know, I alluded to some of that with the social media stuff. Like, yeah, if I'm invited, if I get all the followers or the attention or the likes or whatever it is that we're feeling that we're supposed to have in a place of comparison or devil energy of feeling like going for the shiny thing, but that's not sustainable, right? Nor does it resonate with me truly, right? So it's inauthentic. So recognizing I don't necessarily want, I might think that I want to be on the other side of that door, but is that really what I want? Does that really resonate with me? So it goes on to talk about it being temporary. Things will get better. And if you look around, you will see that help is not far away. As lonely as you feel in this moment, it's important to realize you are not alone. So again, remembering our relationships and our tribe and our support and people who are there to support us when we are in moments, low points or struggle or any form of this energy that's coming in. So it's talking about not to allow hopelessness or any of those lower feelings to swallow us up, right? Having a mindset of lack will keep us in that space, right? What we expect is what we attract in. Expectation equals magnetization. So if I'm living in this place of not enough, of comparison, of, lack, then I'm sending out that signal. I'm setting that tone. I'm sitting in that energy versus being in a place of abundance, of a mindset that says, I have enough, I am enough, right? The power of gratitude is immeasurable and will help lift you out of this situation. Here we go. I just said this. It says, thoughts become things. Make a conscious choice to think hopeful thoughts. I love that. Make a conscious choice to think hopeful thoughts. This is our coming full circle of March. My mantra this month, the words that came to me for the March energy was about elevating our thoughts and contemplating that. Sitting with, for 15 seconds, the joy, sitting with the positive, sitting with the hopeful thoughts, contemplating them, and then cultivating them like the little seedling, like the things that we've planted, and to bring in joy. So being in joy. So that's exactly the message that we're finishing this last week of the month with. Think hopeful thoughts. You will also need to take action to affect change. Avoid negative energies as they will attract more of what you don't want. So if certain relationships, situations, and circumstances bring me from good to hood, and that's not a vibration I want to be in, then again, I don't want to be invited to that party, right? That is not a door that I want to open. So there's an energy and element there of protecting ourselves from those relationships and energies that are draining of us and lowering of our vibration. at least for a time, you know, to be able to regain our composure, our footing, our bearings. Yeah, so avoid those negative energies. And then it speaks to the symbolism that's in this card. So, you know, think hopeful thoughts. So we're really finding it where, and I just love how, again, we can use color to see how you can see the darker cards, the energies that can kind of bring us down into that lower energy, which is a place to be. It does serve a purpose. There is a time where we actually need the feeling of rejection. We actually need the feeling of lack to give us the contrast in order for us to come back into that place where we are able to reset and get our bearings and set out again. We're finishing with those words of Aaliyah. Dust yourself off and try again, right? So thanks to my sister for that. Loving all the spiritual breadcrumbs that came in to form this little more casual, maybe, way of sharing. Let me know how you like it. I'm trying to make things easy and streamlined and getting the information out to you so that you will have this for you for the week. You can tune into these any day. They will be here for you. I will also be putting out about the April Empowerment Pack. So the April Empowerment Pack kicks off on April 1st. So this week, I will be cleansing and clearing the altar. I'll be channeling my word or words for April and gearing up for those who would like to join me for 3 readings this month. We start off with the personal reading for you that's just feeling into your energy for the month ahead, taking a look at the beginning, middle, and end of the month with all kinds of goodies as far as color, crystal, spirit, animal energies to support you throughout the month. And then we have 2 additional readings focusing on the full moon, the new moon, and unlimited 1-card pulls and all the things. So we would love to have you join. I will be putting information about that out as well. So just message me or follow the link if you are interested. Okay, guys, wishing you a beautiful week. Lots of love and many blessings.